How's it going, everyone? Want to take you guys through a bunch of PlayStation game news and updates. A game has seemingly been cancelled, and a pretty notable one at that. It was gonna be a sequel of a game that I wasn't too crazy about, so we'll talk about that. Man, can we all give a round of applause to Capcom over the last few years, because they've been absolutely crushing it. Do I enjoy every single one of their games? Was I a fiend on Exoprimal? No. But for the most part, when I look at what a lot of other publishers are doing, and then I look at Capcom, Capcom is my kind of publisher. And you know who else is my kind of publisher these days? Sega's doing a great job as well. And a lot of the times, Bandai Namco is doing pretty damn well, and they've got a new action RPG that they're going to be revealing early next year. We'll talk about that, and another update on Bandai Namco and their output at the end of this video. But right off the bat, do want to note that it looks like, according to MP First, Tiny Tina's Wonderland sequel that was in development has been cancelled. The article notes, according to our source who has knowledge about the situation, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was cancelled in recent months. This information makes sense considering factors such as a round of layoffs at Lost Boys Interactive, the studio that collaborated in developing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, which suffered cuts in January and September of this year. Additionally, in February, Kotaku reported that the sequel's development had undergone a soft reboot, all amidst the sale of Gearbox to Take-Two by Embracer Group. On top of that, there are some job listings that do note canceled projects were worked on. So, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands 2 probably not going to come to fruition. I did not really enjoy Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I thought from a gameplay standpoint, it was fine. It had some cool abilities, and I thought the setting shift was kind of cool. However, the humor didn't really click with me. The board game kind of gimmick they got going on, I didn't really vibe with that either. The game was fairly short as well. I don't have a major issue with the game being short, but it is something to note. I think they should allocate focuses to your mainline Borderlands games, and I think you would dilute it by doing Wonderlands as well. I think if you want to do like some DLC content of levels that are designed with a different aesthetic style, by all means do that for Borderlands 4, but keep the attention on Borderlands. I don't think Borderlands is at this level at this point where you want to dilute it by doing a spin-off franchise as well. I don't think that makes a lot of sense, but Wonderlands seemingly did do fairly well from a sales standpoint. It's just, was Wonderlands well received enough to lead people to being excited for a sequel? Does Borderlands have that cachet right now, or I guess the Lands franchise, the Lands IP in general, does it have that cachet? And does Wonderlands, is that a sequel that people are going to be salivating for? I absolutely don't think it is. I don't think sinking a lot of money into developing a Wonderlands sequel will pay dividends, and I think a Wonderlands 2 would do a lot worse than Wonderlands 1. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but let me know what you guys think as far as that's concerned. Alright, moving on from that, man. Capcom was I'm not gonna say the saving grace of the Game Awards, but they were the star of the show in my humble opinion. We got the reveal of Onimusha Way of the Sword, and that was fantastic. Got a nice trailer for that. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, Okami 2, or an Okami sequel as they're calling it, is in development. Now, the Okami sequel was just an announcement of the game being in development, and you know what? I think that's great in this isolated instance of announcing it, because Okami is something that I don't think anybody ever believed would get a sequel. I don't think anybody thought we would get a true new Okami title. I know Okami Den came out on the DS, but I thought it was fine to do an announcement like that, and they're outright telling you, we're gonna be absent for quite a while, it's just starting production. They made it as transparent as possible as what's going on, so like everybody knows Okami 2 is not coming out until 2028, 2029, I would say at the earliest. Like, that is where I would expect Okami 2 to come out. I think maybe we'll see the game reappear in like 2027 and set up a release in 28 and 29, but Onimusha Way of the Sword, that is out in 2026. That's not that far away, given that we're almost in 2025. I could easily see that game being set for the spring. Now, Capcom has also noted, in addition to regularly releasing major new titles each year, Capcom is focusing on reactivating dormant IPs that haven't had a new title launch recently. The company is working to further enhance corporate value by leveraging its rich library of content, which includes reviving past IPs like the two titles announced above, in order to continuously produce highly efficient, high-quality titles. Alright. So, Do I have my Mega Man, like, breakdown right now? Do I, like, start crying for a new Mega Man X, a new Mega Man Battle Network game now? Or do we do a separate video on that? Obviously, I'm joking, but let me get a new Mega Man Battle Network, let me get a new Mega Man X. I don't know how exactly they describe, hasn't gotten a new title recently. Like, Mega Man 11 came out in 2018, and obviously Mega Man has still been, you know, in the news cycle with all of these collections being released, but a brand new Mega Man title, we haven't seen that in a while. And in the case of Onimusha, actually, we got Onimusha getting an HD remaster, we got Okami HD remaster, so you know, I think they mean like true new iterations, and collections and remasters wouldn't count. But I do think collections and those remasters kind of gauge the temperature a little bit of how much interest there will be. Those aren't always going to be the best gauge possible because you are re-releasing a game from a different era in a new era, and how is that going to resonate? Like, Onimusha Way of the Sword, I think a whole new audience is going to check that out because it's going to be a top-level, high-end action game. Okami 2, I think a lot of people are going to check that out as well, and I think these games in this era, I think are going to do so much better, especially over here in the West, than they did in the mid-2000s when they initially came out. On top of that, Capcom has been one of those publishers that has done a tremendous job over the last few years in building goodwill. They have so much goodwill right now that they have the momentum to work with all of their positive work on Monster Hunter and Resident Evil and all of the other titles that they've been putting out. And obviously, it hasn't been a home run for Capcom in every account. Pragmata has been in development forever. Exoprimal was kind of, you know, it is what it is, but they're doing new IPs, and then they're throwing in a live service game like Exoprimal, and then they're doing, you know, stuff that is a little bit more interesting, like Kunitsugami. They've got a lot on the table, and they're cooking a lot of stuff with variety. Not everything is gonna land, but I think a lot of it has, and with Onimusha and Okami, those are two IPs that are gonna do very, very well. I'm just, man, Mega Man X coming back, or a new Mega Man Battle Network, I just think people would be all over that. And the thing about a new Mega Man Battle Network and a Mega Man X, I would just think those games wouldn't be as expensive to make as a new Onimusha, as a new Okami. Like, those are gonna be top-level AAA titles. I don't think a new Mega Man Battle Network would have to be something at that scale, and you're still leveraging a really popular IP, but, you know, I don't know as far as that's concerned how expensive it would be to develop a new Mega Man Battle Network. I don't think it would be as expensive as a new Okami or a new Onimusha, but who knows as far as that's concerned. I do think people would be all over that, but that is also me being a long time Mega Man Battle Network fan. Lastly, a couple of notes from Bandai Namco. The Blood of Dawnwalker reveal event is set for January 13th. Now, this is a brand new action RPG done by Rebel Wolves. Don't know who Rebel Wolves all are? Well, they actually got established 2 or so years ago. I want to pull up the exact date. Actually, we're coming up on 3 years since Rebel Wolves was established, February of 2022. And they are comprised of former developers from CD Projekt Red that have worked on Witcher 3 and Cyberpunk 2077. They got a lot of people on board, and they've been cooking up a new action RPG, particularly a story-driven dark fantasy RPG. Bandai Namco came on board to publish the game, and now the reveal event is scheduled for January 13th. Remember that this game's been in development for quite a while. The studio got formed in February of 2022, so you're coming up on 3 years of them being around. They might have a significant amount of gameplay to showcase with the Blood of Dawnwalker, and hopefully that is the case. And this could be something pretty cool. It's noted to be a story-driven dark fantasy RPG, and back in January of this year, it was currently in the alpha stage of development. More updates were set to be announced later in 2024, but now we're gonna get it in January. I would imagine that this isn't gonna be a 2025 release, maybe a 2026 game, but hopefully we'll get something to really sink our teeth into. And then lastly, staying on the Bandai Namco topic, it was noted that Bandai Namco is planning on releasing remastered Tales of titles fairly consistently. Speaking during today's Tales of Series 30th Anniversary Project, a special stream, they wanted to provide remastered Tales of titles fairly consistently and intends to continue doing so as much as possible. The dedicated development line for the remastered project has been established and the team is working on it. So Tales of Grace's F is coming out in January. The titles that still need to be remastered include Tales of Graces, but that will be out in January. Tales of Xillia and Tales of the Abyss are the ones that stand out to me the most. And then there is like Tales of Hearts, Tales of Destiny, Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World. They could remaster that, but you have already remastered a lot of the games. Like Vesperia got remastered, Berseria came out on PS4, so that doesn't need a remaster. Zestria was a PS4 game. You had Symphonia 1 get a remaster, and now you have Graces getting a remaster. Xillia and Xillia 2, I don't think they're gonna make a collection with both of those games. I'd hope to be wrong, and you know, that's a collection I think you could price at $50 or $60 and people would buy it. Abyss is the game that I look at and I'm like, man, that's a game that I would love to see a ground-up remake for. I get it that it's a lot more expensive to do a ground-up remake than it is to just remaster it, but Abyss deserves a full-on remake, and I think that would get a lot more people interested in that game, and I really hope that is the case, because it's just a little jarring to me that Graces is getting the remaster before Abyss. Like, Abyss is beloved within the Tales of community, so I don't know about that one. Hopefully Abyss does come sooner rather than later, and this is going to be something that obviously they're releasing these Tales of remastered titles because the development cycles of the Tales of games are getting longer and longer. Berseria Into Arise, I believe, was, what, 4.5 years? I think it was early 2017 into late 2021, so you're talking about these dev cycles getting a lot longer because the games are getting bigger. Zestria into Berseria, for example, was just 2 years, so the games are taking a little bit more time to develop, so you have these remasters coming out to satiate the demand of Tales of content, so to speak. But that'll do it for me again. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the sequel, has seemingly been canceled. Capcom, I feel, is one of the top publishers in gaming today. They're doing a great job, and with Onimusha and Okami coming back, more franchises from Capcom are probably going to be on their way back. Dino Crisis, I do think, will happen at some point. Blood of Dawnwalker reveal event set for January 13th, and Bandai Namco is continually going to be releasing Tales of remastered titles. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.